Most popular president in history, my ass. What's up, everyone? Jared from Patriots and Pop Culture here, and last night President Joe Biden gave his first speech to a joint session of Congress since inauguration. Some media outlets are calling it his State of the Union address. That's not the case. It wasn't that. And it was hardly a joint session of Congress because hardly anybody was there. He's done all this after his first 100 days in office, breaking records on being silent, not making public appearances, not making public speeches, not addressing the problems that have been going on. And before we get into what he said last night, why don't we go ahead and take a look back at his first 100 days in office.
Going this way. Thank you all. Not everybody in the community, in the Hispanic and the African American community, particularly in rural areas that are distant and or inner city districts.
You almost feel bad for the guy.
Know how to get online to determine how to get in line for that COVID vaccination at the Walgreens or at the particular store.
Almost.
These millstones no longer mark our national mourning. These milestones, I should say, no longer mark our national mourning. The vast majority of economists, left, right, and center, from Wall Street to the private economic polling initiatives.
Today, Junior?
Thank you for joining us today. Absolutely determined, as Murphy and others are, to get this done. You've got a Japanese boy coming over here, and guess what? He won the Masters.
If I had $1 for every time Joe Biden said something either completely ignorant or completely racist, I would be in a whole new tax bracket, and the government would love that because they'd get over half.
I want to thank the former general. I keep calling him general, but the guy who runs that outfit over there.
Does anybody know who he's talking about? How do you fall upstairs?
So the best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway.
So after taking a look back at Biden's first 100 days in office, has he gotten any better at anything? Is his speaking any better? Is he still stumbling and mumbling all over the place? Well, I mean, to be honest with you, his speech was well written. It was boring. It was completely boring. Some people in Congress were actually falling asleep. Look at Ted Cruz.
I've sent a bill to take a close look at it. We also have to get at the root problem of why people are fleeing.
And then Joe goes on to say one of the most ignorant things ever spoken in a presidential address.
The Constitution opens with the words as trite as it sounds, we the people. Well, it's time to remember that we the people are the government.
Excuse me, no, Mr. President. We the people is not the government. We the people is the government's boss. You work for us. You work for the people. You keep forgetting that. All of your cohorts keep forgetting that. Everyone in Congress, all these Democrats keep forgetting that. You work for the people. And as far as most people are concerned, you're all doing a really shitty job.
We have to do more than just build back better. We have to build back better. We have to compete.
How can somebody talk for so long and say absolutely nothing? We have to do more than build back better. We have to build back better. First of all, your slogan was stolen from the EU. It's pretty pathetic. And it means nothing. Build back better. You haven't built anything. It's been over 100 days, and the country is getting worse. The border crisis is absolutely abysmal, and it's your fault. How did we go from this to this? So somehow they managed to get the 78-year-old puppet on stage and recite from a teleprompter something that somebody else wrote. Plenty of people in Congress, and there wasn't that many there to begin with, but plenty of them ended up falling asleep during his speech. Now, afterwards, Texas Senator Ted Cruz spoke with Fox News specifically about what was said, even though a lot of people were cracking jokes on the fact that it looked like he was dozing off, but trust me, he heard enough of it to talk about it. Let's see what he had to say.
Well, look, I think the speech tonight, you could sum up in 3 words. Boring, but radical.
Which would explain why people were falling asleep. And if you go on to YouTube and see everybody that live streamed it, the ratio to likes to dislikes is hilarious in favor of the dislikes. Nobody liked what he had to say.
I challenge you to remember a single line from the speech. I mean, it was monotone. The chamber was nearly empty. And that really has characterized the first 100 days of Joe Biden, that he's tried to say nothing notable. He's tried to tweet nothing notable. I think that made the political decision that many people were tired of the drama of the previous 4 years, and they wanted something calm. But Joe is deliberately being boring, but the substance of what he's saying is radical.
Maybe there are some people who just wanted to get back to some kind of normal in voting for somebody like Joe Biden. The 4 previous years were definitely not normal, but that doesn't mean that it was bad either, because normal is normally the status quo. And the status quo for this country when it comes to politicians has been pretty pathetic.
This is the most radical first 100 days of any president in the history of this country. This makes Barack Obama look mild and moderate. You look at what Joe Biden stood up there tonight and said. He said, number one, we're raising taxes. We're raising every tax. If you pay taxes in America, your taxes are going up.
And let's not forget the thousands upon thousands of jobs that he destroyed his first day in office.
He said that they're going to raise individual income taxes, they're going to raise corporate income taxes, they're going to raise taxes on small businesses.
Everyone's going to be paying more taxes, even the people that voted for Joe Biden. They don't realize that. The days of Trump's tax cuts are gone, and more taxes will be coming, and it's going to hit everybody across the board. And you know who's going to get hit the most from it? The middle class, because the middle class ends up paying for all of the stuff that the top 1% doesn't pay in tax breaks, because they're the ones who are innovating and bringing businesses here. And you know what? They actually deserve to get some tax breaks. Why should other countries have all of our businesses because we tax businesses too much to stay here? And you know who else the middle class is going to be paying for? Everybody on welfare. And whenever you have a Democrat-run Congress and a Democrat president, the welfare state just grows and grows and grows because the unemployment goes through the roof. And he's already proven that in his first 100 days.
Look at what Joe Biden didn't say tonight. He didn't say we're opening up small businesses. He didn't say we're getting people back to work. He didn't say we're getting kids back in school. Completely missing from his remarks tonight what was the outrage that more than half of the kids in America are not in person in school 5 days a week.
Because, I mean, we can't destroy the narrative that the government has to swoop in and save us, apparently from ourselves.
And he provided zero solution to the crisis at the border that he caused. He pretended it didn't exist.
By the way, who paid for all the Biden Let Me In t-shirts? Just curious.
This was all about trillions of dollars in spending, massive job-killing regulations, trillions of dollars in taxes, and it was an unapologetic partisan speech.
I mean, they don't call him China Joe for nothing. Screw the American people. That's the Democrat way.
There wasn't even the tiniest fig leaf of an outreach to the other side. You know, it was 100 days ago he gave his inauguration where he talked about unity, he talked about common ground. All of that was gone tonight.
They don't want unity, and we've all known that they don't want unity. They want conformity. They want the other side of the aisle to bow down to them, to cave on all of their principles, and just go with whatever narrative they want because they preach on emotion instead of common sense and logic. They can't argue their policies on principle, so they have to make the other side look evil by calling them an ist or an ism.
The Corrupt Politicians Act, H.R. 1, a federal takeover of elections to keep Democrats in power forever, and he didn't once reject the radical Democratic plan we saw introduced this last week to pack the U.S. Supreme Court with 4 new liberals.
I mean, they threatened that as soon as Ruth Bader Ginsburg died and Amy Coney Barrett got the nomination. They said they were going to do this. Why is anybody surprised that they're doing what they actually said they were going to do when it benefits them? The only time that they don't do what they say they're going to do is when it benefits the American people. Common sense.
This was a frightening speech, and it was a frightening speech masquerading in really boring tones.
He's not in charge. I said this last week. I've been saying it for months. He's not in charge. He's a puppet. He's easily controlled. And the people behind the scenes are the ones making all of these moves. He's just the one that they thought they could use because who would want to go after a 78-year-old man? You know, who seems so nice. He doesn't do mean tweets like Trump does. Well, I would much rather have the mean tweets from Trump than have somebody who makes absolutely no sense whenever they speak. They don't know what they're signing in executive orders, and they're being controlled by a bunch of socialists. But apparently he got 80 million votes. Yeah, right. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as my kid says,
click on bell
to get notifications for upcoming videos.